And welcome back to more Gravity Rush Remastered. Last time, we joined the Special Forces, so this time, we're going to help them out by defeating the Nevi that are invading Vendecentre. So, it looks like they've got the ground-based Nevi under control, so let's worry about the flyers. There's so many of them. Our special gauge has recharged, so let's use it, unless we get interrupted out of it. Again, that's why the faster Nevi are a lot scarier, because it's very easy to get interrupted mid-attack, so that's not great. That one looks like it got stuck, which actually works out well. So that's one core down. Luckily there's a ton of health near the station itself, so that's good. Pick out those cores. I'm doing my best. I am going to use that health trick, except I don't have enough gems. Whoops, luckily there are still health pickups here. I forgot I had actually upgraded a bunch of things last time, or at least recently, so I don't actually have enough gems to stop and upgrade for free health, so whoops. So yeah, maybe don't do that if you're about to start these DLC missions, because these ones are, like I mentioned before, a bit difficult. So yeah, best to save some upgrade points, just in case you need them. So that one looks like it's stuck again, so let's try to defeat it as quickly as possible. Upgrading the gravity kick would be a great idea for these missions, because these are actually getting pretty strong. I am honestly a little bit concerned about how this is going, because I'm actually taking quite a bit of damage. And there are still health pickups in the area, but still, I'm running out of them very fast. We got far enough away to actually be out of range, they just keep coming. And now that we're a little bit out of range, we are safe to use our Gravity Typhoon. And more of them have appeared. I don't know if there are actually any more flying enemies based on the arrows at least, so let's focus on the ground ones for now, since that's all there are. So yeah, that first wave was actually the scariest. This wave is actually a lot easier to deal with, by comparison. But yeah, these kind of combat-oriented missions do tend to be a lot more stressful because of just how unwieldy the combat is inherently. So it's very easy to take damage just because you can't orient the camera fast enough. I think that's all of them. Oh, it's a big one. Concentrate fire on that Nevi. Alright, so let's try to make short work of it by destroying all the cores. It looks like the core in its front is actually armored this time, so that's actually different than previous versions of this Nevi that we fought. So we have to break that first before we can actually attack the core. And there we go. See, Cat, the plaza's been contained. See, Cat, you did well on your first mission. I can see we've gained ourselves a valuable ally. I've got to thank you all. A little girl told me about all the good you've done. You were there for the city when I wasn't. Gratitude is a rare award for a soldier. Treasure it. There are many civilians who don't support us or the new government, but at the end of the day, we have to fight for what we believe in. Sea Cat, we are about to undertake an important operation. I hope that you can join us in seeing it through. Sea Wasp seems kinda upset. I've been meaning to ask, but Sea Wasp and Sea Cat are codenames, right? So what's your real name? I was just, curious. I'm a soldier and only a soldier. Sea Wasp is the only name I need. I see. Well, Sea Wasp it is then. Her name is Unica. Commander, with all due respect... Unica, I know it hasn't been easy growing up in these special circumstances, but I hope you can learn to work together with Sea Cat. I'm sure the two of you will make me proud. Yes, sir. Sea Cat, that goes for you too. I expect you and Sea Wasp to set an example for the troops. That is all for today. Dismissed. So Sea Wasp's name is Unica, huh? It's actually kind of cute. Yes, sir. Come on, Dusty. Let's go home for some R&R. And so ended my first mission as Sea Cat, the newest member of Hexaville Special Forces, the Jellyfish. They were there for Hexaville when I wasn't, and I had them to thank for keeping the city safe. I would later find that safety can come at a cost, but that's another story for another time. My reputation seems to be improving. Alright. So this next mission is a doozy, so we're actually not going to worry about that quite yet. I want to go and do something else first, and that will take us actually to Altnor, because I want to actually try out one of the DLC challenges from the Maid Pack, actually. Should be the green one over here. And from there, looks like the closest warp would be the Plaza. Alright, so as a reminder, the DLC challenges do not require gems, so we are free to try it whenever we want, once we get to the point where the challenge is unlocked. Obviously, we need to have the Rift Plane unlocked for this challenge to become available, so the prerequisite for this, I think, is chapter or episode 6. The Rift Plane Unlimited Power Attack. With an unlimited gravity gauge and access to special powers, defeat as many Nevi as possible within the time limit. The gold score is 22,000 points. So, the gimmick of this is we can basically spam special moves and gravity powers as much as we want. And we will want to do that because we have a ton of Nevi to fight and a high score to reach. In all fairness though, we've already gotten to a 10th of the score in one wave. So yeah, this isn't exactly exciting actually, because all you're really doing for this challenge is spamming Gravity Typhoon. I mean, you can do this challenge in other ways, but in all fairness, this is the easiest way to do this challenge. We've also upgraded it a fair bit as well, which will make our Gravity Typhoon way more effective. So yeah, overall, while there are other ways you can use gravity kicks and other attacks, this is just way easier. And since we have unlimited energy, might as well use this. So we're over a 10th of the way there, more enemies have appeared. Overall, I feel like the DLC challenges are actually kind of interesting, because they kind of create unique scenarios like having unlimited energy, but this isn't exactly super exciting. It's actually not that difficult, maybe it's because we've already leveled up our Gravity Typhoon so much, but I feel like the biggest risk is losing all your health, and even that isn't that likely. As long as you stay really far away and just pelt the enemies from a distance, basically, you should be good to go. This is a very scary wave of enemies, but as long as we just use Gravity Typhoons, this shouldn't be too bad. That one is getting concerningly close, actually. We also have the Black Hole move as well, but we haven't leveled it up at all, so it might not be very effective. Like with the regular time attacks, basically we just need to make it through a bunch of waves of enemies, and eventually we'll loop back to the beginning, where there will be stronger variants of those same enemies. It is cool getting to see the Rift Planes used for this, though. We will be going back to the Rift Planes anyway, for the Mysterious Couple locations and rare Nevi fights, but it is also cool having challenges set within these as well. I feel like the DLC is worth it on Vita. Obviously, you don't have to worry about this on PS4, because the missions are fairly, long. Like, they're full-size missions, despite being DLC. This I'm not entirely sure how to deal with, because of just the timing of actually dealing damage when the spikes go away. If I had upgraded the Black Hole move, maybe that would have been better, but that wasn't terribly effective, sadly. I am going to actually go away and then charge this up again, and try to take out all the ones that are actively attacking within this cycle. So yeah, the DLC challenges are definitely a little bit tougher, partly because they do raise the level cap from the main game, and also because it feels like they're meant to be tried out much later. But still, like the ones in Baltome, if you have enough upgrades, they really aren't that intimidating. They're fairly easy to manage, thankfully. I feel like the Inferno DLC challenge is probably one of the toughest DLC challenges. For this playthrough, I do want to go through the remaining challenges, some of which we might end up doing post-game, but in general, I do feel like the challenges aren't too bad in terms of gold ranks. There are a couple that might require some trial and error, but yeah, for the most part, this is a fairly easy game to get 100% on, as long as you avoid that trophy glitch in Baltome by doing the challenges at the earliest possible time and not waiting for later, because again, if you do those challenges last, that can cause a trophy glitch where the gold medal trophy will not activate. We have a mini-boss here, so that's kind of unusual. Last time we fought it, we didn't even have this move, so let's actually use this to show off how effective it is. This actually isn't super effective because the legs on it do block a lot of the gravity typhoon shots, but it is still pretty good. And also because that's basically a mini-boss, we actually get a decent amount of points as well. And now we're heading back to the beginning. So yeah, definitely would recommend trying to level up a bit before this next and final side mission, because I do recall it being one of the hardest missions in the entire game. And also, as a reminder, there would normally be a setup narration if we were trying these DLC missions out of sequence. So if we had basically completed the next few missions and then gone back to this DLC mission, Kat would have basically done a narration to establish the time frame of this mission, similar to what we saw with the Maid DLC, because that was one where we did it out of sequence from what the story was. But yeah, I kind of like how the DLC is flexible that way, where it can integrate into the story, or be kind of like a flashback to like a side story. I'm trying to remember how much the DLC cost on Vita. I want to say it was like $6 a pack, which isn't awful, actually, given that Vita games are like $40. So yeah, overall not bad. And yeah, the PS4 version, by the way, I don't know if I've actually mentioned this, but the digital price of the PS4 version, because, let's be real, you're not getting a physical copy unless you're willing to spend a lot. Digital copies of Gravity Rush Remastered are about $30 US, which is honestly a very good deal. It's not a very long game, we're already fairly close to the end, but, you know, for like a 10 to 15 hour game, I think it's worth it. There's definitely some issues that I hope are ironed out in the sequel, but overall I do really like this game. I'm not sure if I've actually talked about this either, but this is one of the games that made me want a Vita in the first place, along with like Persona 4 Golden, and luckily both are now available outside of the Vita. And with that, we have reached the target score with relative ease. So instead of extending the timer anymore, I'm just going to fly over here and hang out for a bit. So yeah, overall, this is definitely worthwhile. If you have a Vita, also, I actually don't know how expensive physical Vita copies are. I imagine they're probably similar, because this was a game relatively close to launch. I want to say this was about 2012, at least in Japan. I actually don't recall the exact day or time frame in the West. I think it was a little bit later. But yeah, overall, I do recommend this game a lot. Definitely a very quirky and unique title. I feel like it released at a bad time on PS4. It was 2016, so I feel like by then the PS4 had really taken off. So games like this kind of get lost in the shuffle at that point. And it's kind of a shame, because even though there are a lot more, like, high-quality, you know, AAA experiences at the time available on the PS4, it does feel like, more niche stuff sometimes has a lot of creativity to it, and I kind of miss that in a lot of AAA games. That's why I like the indie game scene so much, because that sense of creativity is there. That sometimes is lacking with AAA developers who aren't willing to take as many risks because of putting more time and money into different projects, so they tend to play it safe a little bit more often. So again, that is why I kind of think it's a real shame that the Sony Japan studio is being restructured the way it is. But who knows, at least Astro's Playroom is doing well, or whatever the PS5 tech demo is, so maybe we'll see more quirky games like that. That was fairly time-consuming, but that was still a relatively easy 900 gems. And the other DLC mission in Aldnor is somewhere around here. So let's also take care of that while we're in the neighborhood. So let's see what this is like. The Aldnor Free Race 2. Pass through every checkpoint and complete the race. Use every gravity trick at your disposal to win. So, also the goal time for this is 2 minutes, which isn't too bad, but it's actually one of the longer races we've seen so far. With enough upgrades, this isn't too scary, but it is a little bit intimidating, because we have to land on a lot of floating platforms like this. So it's a little bit scarier because you have a lot more precise gravity movement to do compared to other challenges. Try to pick up gems along the way to restore your gravity gauge, but for the most part this isn't too bad. Without upgrades, I don't think a gold time would actually be possible for this because of how strict it is. And even with the amount of upgrades we have, this might be cutting it a little bit close. But yeah, this takes you all over Aldnor. It's kind of cool, actually, getting to explore this much of the area. So this is kind of cool. It looks like we have to actually gravity slide here for a very short stint, at least, and actually resume gravity sliding here. So we're about halfway through, and we have about half the time remaining, so that's actually good. From here we need to drop down to the lower level. So yeah, this takes you all over the place, and it's honestly really cool. Alright, so from here we need to pass through. By the way, in a lot of cases like this, you don't really need to land, you just need to kind of pass low enough to the ground for it to count. So if you want to go really fast, just kind of graze the checkpoint like that. Not exactly an easy technique at times, but it is still possible to do that. And that's another 900 gems. So I'm going to hold on to those gems for the next mission in case I need healing, or if I need to quickly adapt and get a specific power-up for later. But we should be good to go for tackling the next DLC mission. So let's make our way back to Vendecentre. And we'll finish up the Special Forces missions next time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Gravity Rush Remastered.